Attention all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Joining us right now is the great legal scholar, Alan Dershowitz. And Professor Dershowitz, I have to play you this sound from Zohran Mamdani on Thursday night, just hours after he celebrated the Knicks victory. While he's still wearing a Knicks jersey under his jacket, he has this to say, and it sounds like it's right out of Der Stürmer in 1938. Listen to this, Alan.
Ways with misleading and bad faith attacks about Claire, Brad, and Dari. Those who would rather spend far more on political contributions than they would ever be made to pay in taxes. In AIPAC, for whom the only thing more frightening than democracy being allowed to run its course is an end to genocide and Netanyahu's wars.
And before that, Professor Dershowitz, he referred to them as monsters. Josh Gottheimer, the only Democrat, I think, right now who is elected Democrat who has castigated Zohran Mamdani for this old blood libel stuff. I mean, this is even for Mamdani, this was a step further than he's done before.
Well, a step further than he's done before publicly, but privately, he probably espouses all the Goebbels, Der Stürmer anti-Semitic tropes that we've heard about for so many years. Remember, AIPAC is not an Israeli organization. It is an American organization comprised largely of American Jews who are citizens of this country, and he's calling them monsters. He's not calling Israelis monsters. That would be bad enough. He's calling his fellow American citizens monsters. Look, Mamdani is a virulent anti-Semite, Jew hater, and a man who gets 20-30% of the Jewish vote, who has people like Brad Lander, who's a self-hating Jew hater, and who he endorses against Goldman, who's a moderate, centrist, sometimes critical of Israel, Democratic politician. Mamdani is a 1932 Nazi clone. Remember, in 32, the Nazis weren't calling for the death of Jews. They were just saying maybe there are too many Jews here and too many Jews there, too much influence, too much power. And so what we're hearing is a similar approach from Mamdani to what Nazis were saying in 1932. Mamdani is one of the most dangerous people in America today because he has a following. As I've always said, if Hitler ever came to America, he wouldn't be, have that mustache. He wouldn't be a German. He'd be an American guy who people like. And Mamdani is, somewhat charming. And what I said when he got elected is people were afraid he would ruin New York City. My great fear was he would not ruin New York City, that he would do a good job in helping the economy of New York, the way Hitler did in 1932. Hitler helped Germany between 1932 and 1934, and only after he then got a lot of people on his side because he was good for the economy did he then begin to really focus on the anti-Jewish laws, ultimately leading to Kristallnacht and then to the Holocaust.
Well, I have good news for you.
I think
he hasn't helped the economy here in New York. As Fernando Mateo is with us, he's been very hostile to the business owners. I mean, thank goodness for that, right? I'm not really thanking him for that, but don't worry.
He'd be reelected today. If he were running again today, he would be reelected. His true colors have not shown, just like Hitler's true colors did not shine. And so what I worry about is that he is, the other day his true colors came out when he called AIPAC, an American Jewish organization, monsters. So, but his true colors rarely come out. He charmed Donald Trump in the White House. I mean, he has this ability to charm people, just the way Hitler charmed Chamberlain. Hitler charmed Joseph Kennedy. Hitler charmed so many people. And I'm afraid Mamdani has that same talent, which makes him even more dangerous.
Well, let's go to Professor John Katzmatidis. Let's go to the bigger problem. And it all started with John Solomon this morning. And Jake, your statistics and you know everything. And the problem with the Democratic Party started in 2008 when President Obama became president. And the Democratic Party has gone from 80% under Bill Clinton, et cetera, from 80% loving America down to 29%. What the heck is going on?
I agree with you. Look, I fell for Obama. He was my student. I knew him when he was at Harvard. He's charming. I liked him. I voted for him the first time. He invited me to the Oval Office repeatedly. He invited me to the dinner in which he gave the former president of Israel, Shimon Peres, the Medal of Freedom. You know, all of that. And then came his second term, and his true colors came out. He called the Kotel, the Western Wall, which is like the Vatican, like the Mormon center, the holiest place of Judaism. He called it illegally occupied territory. And did some terrible, terrible things in his last days. But I agree with you. I think he was the beginning of the end. Look, I wrote a column the other day in which I say Joe Biden may have been the last pro-Israel Democratic candidate in American history. The Democratic Party has become a vicious anti-Israel party, with exceptions, as you say, Gottheimer and Fetterman and a few others. But even the moderates, the Josh Shapiros, the others are turning against Israel in a lot of different ways, because today it's good politics to be anti-Israel. And I think you're absolutely right. I think Obama is the one who caused that change. Clinton was really the last strongly pro-Israel president, and he still says, most recently, that the Palestinians deserve what they've gotten. They could have had a state in 2000, 2001. They were offered 96% of the West Bank, the entire Gaza Strip, and 4% of what is now Israel, and they turned it down. And as Clinton said, you don't get that offer again once you've turned it down. And so what happened after that is they turned to violence, they turned to lying, but they have mastered public relations, and they have become the most dominant force on college campuses today. Today, anti-Israel, pro-Palestinianism is the dominant force on college and university campuses.
Now, it all happened in 2008 when President Obama became president. And the next thing he did, I mean, he went from, we were talking about it, he went from community organizer to state senator to United States senator to president in 2.5, 3 years. Can that really happen, or was there help? Was there help behind the scenes? I'm only asking, not your professional opinion, your gut feeling.
My gut feeling is you're absolutely right that Obama was the beginning of the end for support for Israel among Democrats, and now he's become an architect building his museum.
Did somebody create? Did somebody, if you know him that long of a period of time, did somebody create Barack Obama?
Who knows? Who knows? Remember, the same thing was happening all over Europe. People were moving away from Israel. Spain has become one of the worst anti-Israel places. Look, I was watching soccer yesterday. I had to decide whether to root for Iran or Belgium. That would be easy. I couldn't root for Belgium. Belgium has become a viciously anti-Semitic place. They now want to ban kosher slaughter. Mm-hmm. They want to ban circumcision of Jewish children. They have become a vicious anti-Semitic. Europe is turning into what it was in the 1930s, and that's why Israel must maintain its own strength, its own independence. We who support Israel and America should be trying our best within the Republican Party to keep the Republican Party strong for Israel. And, there's a problem there, too, with Tucker Carlson. But it's very important. But Israel has to maintain its own independence militarily and in every way, because it can't count on the support of third countries, of other countries. It's just not true. It can't count on the kindness of strangers. Jews made that mistake early on in their history by counting on others, and then they built Israel, and they have the strongest Navy, the strongest Army, the strongest nuclear program. They don't admit the nuclear program, but they have it, and they have to defend themselves, and they're doing a great job, but they shouldn't compromise their security to please anybody in the Democrat or Republican Party.